and saw that there was. If you don't answer the questions, it looks like you don't want to.
Chicago's interim police superintendent pulled from the mic by the mayor while in.
Okay, everyone, come on in, come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in to The Mix. Like this video, share this video. More importantly, listen to this video from beginning to end. Yes, listen to this video, you guys, from beginning to end. I won't keep you all long. As you can see what this video is about. Teacher shot at Chicago White Sox Stadium. This happened about a week or so ago. A few things stuck out to me when it came across my desk. I'm going to be sharing an article with you guys. I won't be screen sharing this article, but as you can see and as you heard from the beginning of the video, it seems like there's some type of conflict in terms of investigation-wise. It looks like the ATF has joined the investigation. CPD needs to help. There seems to be a little bit of transparency issues and incompetency issues. Yes, I'm calling it that. Transparency issues in terms of with Brandon Johnson, the Chicago's mayor, because he pulls the mic out of the superintendent, who is not the permanent superintendent, but the interim superintendent of Chicago, police superintendent, as that is. So, but why would he even do that? You know, let the man speak and be transparent and answer the question. So that right there was a little bit, to me, in my opinion, on the shady side. And in terms of incompetency and also on the transparency side, just shady, transparent. And when it comes to the CPD, the investigation, it seems a bit suspect and it seems a bit incompetent. As you can see, it looks like the ATF, based off of my research and review, and it looks like the ATF has joined the investigation. So they needed an outside federal agency to come on in and help them. So let me go ahead and go over this article with you guys. I won't be sharing that screen, but I will be reading some excerpts from this article. ABC7Chicago.com. Woman shot at Chicago White Sox Stadium. Denies bringing gun to park. ATF joins investigation. Basically, they were accusing the woman, the female, of bringing a firearm into the park, and the incident being self-inflicted. Yes. Law enforcement basically stated self-inflicted. Okay, let me continue. 2 women shot are CPS teachers at Graham Elementary School. I don't know if that's on the south or west side or up north, so that's to be determined. One of the women who was shot at the Chicago White Sox game on Friday night, again, this happened about a week ago, says she didn't bring the gun into Guaranteed Rate Field. Her attorney spoke out Tuesday, and they said their client was sitting in the stands when she was hit by a bullet. The attorneys, who said the woman is a season ticket holder, released a statement saying our client underwent emergency medical treatment for a gunshot wound she received while attending a baseball game. She denies bringing a firearm into the stadium and further denies having anything to do with this charge of a firearm at the stadium. We have reviewed photographic evidence and x-rays of our client's injuries with firearms and medical experts who confirm the gunshot wound our client sustained was not self-inflicted. Keep that in mind. And was not the result of her accidentally discharging a firearm. So I wonder who did this. Where did this come from? But let me continue. We will continue investigating this matter further to pursue justice on behalf of our client who sustained serious personal injuries as a result of this shooting. And again, this is the client's attorney speaking on her behalf, and she's a school teacher, Chicago school teacher. Law enforcement experts had said that the way the 42-year-old was wounded suggested a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It's the incompetence for me. The article further cites that, but a police source now tells ABC7 the woman's clothing tested negative for gunshot residue. In my opinion, you guys, and let me just insert real quick, they jumped the gun, pun intended, on this. And sometimes investigations of this magnitude, especially, and I know you want to get down to the bottom of this from an investigatory perspective, it may take some time. They threw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak, and this is I guess you can call it a metaphor or whatever, metaphorical phrase. And they got ahead of themselves. They should have thoroughly investigated before they put this suggestion and allegations out there like it was self-inflicted. Okay, but let me continue. Article further cites ABC7 reviewed video of the woman entering Gate 5 last Friday. It shows that as she goes through the magnet meter, the alarm lights trigger at waist level. But at the same time, the man who went through before her is reaching back for his cell phone, which had been slid through on a gray tray. Interesting. The video also shows that at that moment, a woman on the other side is pushing a small bag through on a table. So the 42-year-old woman, who is very heavy, wow, they went there, okay, is told by security to go back through the magnet meter. No alarms go off then or when she proceeds back through. So she is now wanded and is allowed to proceed into the ballpark, along with that 42-year-old who was shot in the left field bleachers. There were two other victims. A 26-year-old was grazed in the stomach and a 31-year-old was nicked in the back. Wow. Both of those women are CPS teachers at Graham Elementary School who were celebrating the end of the first week of classes with a group of 30 or so colleagues at the game. The 31-year-old said she heard two popping sounds and felt a pinch in her back, and then a woman behind her screamed. When she looked down, she found a bullet. Wow. Tuesday, Chicago police held a high-level meeting to go over all the evidence in this evolving case. One source said that after appearing that the bullets came from inside guaranteed rate field, detectives are now reconsidering the possibility that they may have come from outside. So now the detectives are reversing this and saying, possibly it's not, self-inflicted. It's a great chance that this likely came from outside of the ballpark. An attorney hired by the woman denied that she brought the gun to the park or had anything to do with the shooting. Also late Tuesday night, multiple sources told the I-Team that ATF is assisting CPD with ballistics as part of the investigation into the shooting. Chicago police issued a statement Tuesday afternoon saying their investigation is still active and ongoing, and that updates will be provided as they become available. Okay, you guys, there you have it. What are your thoughts? If you want to go ahead and read this article in its entirety, head on over to abcchicago.com. Again, these were some excerpts from the article. I think I went over the entire article. There may be more to it, but head on over to that site, read the article at your leisure for yourself. Okay, so as you heard in the beginning of this video about how Brandon Johnson, Chicago's mayor, rushed the interim superintendent from the podium, that to me speaks the lack of transparency in Chicago political officials. And that's horrible. That to me is not what the voters want, not what they voted for. So I'm just, when it comes to this political climate overall, I have zero confidence in many political officials. And I had a conversation with someone recently, and basically they was like, what can you really do about it? It is what it is. I'm like, in my opinion, I think people just should stop voting or go against the norm and vote for whoever you feel that is best, advocate for your best interest totally, and stop going with the trends or stop being sheep followers. Public officials are for the public. Operative word, public. So why hide? Why omit? Why evade? Why evade press conferences? Why not answer questions? You were voted in by the public. So you have a duty to the public, a duty to your voters, a duty to your constituents, a duty to the taxpayers to answer whatever questions. So, like I said, I have zero confidence in these politicians, period. And when you know better, you do better, sir. Brandon Johnson, in my opinion, was wrong. Was wrong. It's the lack of transparency. And then now we have the finger pointing with Chicago White Sox, it appears, and the CPD, and then this individual person who was, it seems to be the victim of a gunshot wound, and two other people as well. So it had to come from somewhere. It's the incompetency for me, or it's the gross incompetency for me, or it's the finger pointing. Like, who's going to take responsibility and accountability from a perspective of authority? Chicago White Sox, meaning the guaranteed rates field, guaranteed rate stadium, whoever's the CEOs, the executives, White Sox executives, CPD, they all need to come to a round table. This needs to be thoroughly investigated. I'm so happy that ATF, an outside federal agency, is come in and is in the mix to help shed some light on this, and hopefully they'll get down to the bottom of it and from an ethical perspective, and hopefully they are allowed to reveal it to the public, because you know how some things just disappear, or just all of a sudden nothing else is ever said, and we never know what had happened. So but yeah, what are your thoughts, you guys? This is just, again, it's the gross incompetency for me. It's the lack of transparency for me. It's the audacity for me from federal agencies, from political officials, from those, in these positions of authority and power, to just stick their middle fingers up to the taxpayers and their constituents. It's not right. And then you have law enforcement, add them in the mix. It's the gross incompetency, gross negligence of thoroughly investigating and really truly getting down to the bottom of it. The reason I say gross incompetence, did you all see that situation that happened with Lil Uzi the rapper, when he was mistaken, like a mistaken identity for a dog napper, like he kidnapped a dog or whatever, or stole a dog or something, dog thief, excuse me. But it's like, and it was released by law enforcement. It's like, it's the incompetency for me. So you guys can't put two and two together, knowing that people uses other people's like images on social media. You can't really get down to the bottom of this. To my understanding, with that situation with Lil Uzi, as they had alleged that he was a dog thief, and this particular dog, I think, is a popular dog that cost a lot of money, and is the popularity, and there's a high demand for this particular dog. So you mean to tell me Lil Uzi, you guys couldn't figure out what's what, who's who? That's incompetency, and that's just an example. So that's when I go back to saying, with this shooting that happened at Guaranteed Rate, hence the White Sox stadium. First, they were blaming the victim, Chicago teacher. They were stating it was self-inflicted, but the doctors, the medical professionals, like, no, this was self-inflicted because of ABCD. So they got experts and medical professionals involved to counter that. So now they want to walk it back and be like, no, well, maybe it wasn't self-inflicted. We're still, it's still an ongoing investigation, and we're, trying to get down to the bottom of this. But you were ready to pin it on this particular lady. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know if it was someone in her group that had possible firearm. I don't know. But apparently, and based off of the teacher's attorney, what he or she stated, this wasn't self-inflicted. Their client is the victim. So the level of incompetency or rush to judgment with law enforcement, it needs to be really checked. I mean, they are, from politicians to law enforcement, they receive taxpayers' dollars. And these are the results we get. It's like, if they would have ran with this narrative and it would have been picked up and everybody would have been totally on board from top to bottom. But thankfully, in my opinion, and let me just insert here, Brandon Johnson and Go Along appears to have went along with what they initially was saying. But just say it was picked up from top to bottom. This lady probably would be facing charges, and no, that's not the case in this instance. So although and this is just my opinion based off of what I've researched and reviewed, and although this is ongoing investigation, I am inclined to think that it was not her fault. She was not the one with the firearm. It was not self-inflicted, and it came from somewhere. Whether it be inside the stadium or outside the stadium, I have no idea. That is to be determined. So, but let me know your thoughts. These politicians hold these public official type of positions, operative work, public but then they want to hide and evade questioning, hide from the cameras, not answer questions. That's, to me, that's, what are you, a public? Because this is public service. When you're a law enforcement, it's public service. When you are a mayor, when you are a congresswoman, a congressperson, when you are a local official, you are public service. You serve the public. So speak, but you want to hide. It's public. Public being to the world. Oh my goodness. But you guys go ahead, continue to vote for however you want to vote, whoever you want to vote for. But like I stated in plenty of other videos, it's a no for me. And if I do ever decide to participate in this process again, I will conduct my due diligence and I will vote for whoever. I don't care if it's pink, yellow, blue, green, purple, red, whoever, whatever, that has my best interest, my community's best interest, my personal best interest, household best interest, financial best interest in mind. So, but let me know your thoughts, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and run a poll. Do you believe that it was okay for Brandon Johnson, Chicago's mayor, to pull the microphone or to cut the interview or the questioning short with the reporters, with the interim superintendent? To me, that's a lack of transparency, and that's not what the public deserves. Speak. Let him speak his mind. Let him be able to, even if he stumble or whatever, he can always come back and correct whatever. But yeah, to me, that's not cool at all. And then also, do you believe law enforcement is incompetent overall? The state of police and law enforcement in the United States, do you believe the competency level is high level or low level? I will be running a poll. I thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the mix. Like this video, share this video, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.